And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is season 4, episode 36. One of the leagues that we have featured quite a bit this year because the race has been really incredible. The team's incredible. The players incredible is the UAA. And the UAA race has tightened up in the last week or so. And that was a reason that I wanted to go to this next guest, in addition to he is one of my favorite players in Division III men's basketball to watch. If you've ever watched the New York University Violets, you know what I mean. Spencer Freedman, it's great to finally meet you. It's great to finally have you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here. It's great to finally meet you. You're a legend in D3 hoops, so it's truly an honor to be here today.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks to your head coach for brokering this deal. I had reached out to him about a week and a half ago and said, how do I get Spencer on? And he said, could we wait after this game and then this game? And so boom, he delivered, and here you are. Um, Spencer is a 6-foot point guard. He's a grad student. He's from Pacific Palisades, California. I bet the weather is better in Pacific Palisades. Like, tell me in Manhattan right now, Spencer, what kind of weather are we looking at?
Yeah, yesterday there was a snowstorm. Not the most fun thing for me. And today it's about 30. It's a little cold. Definitely a
That's
lot colder than home.
Yeah, that's not 30. You'll take 30. But yeah,
For
here
sure.
in Dallas today, I'm staring at 71 degrees, beautiful day. But we are coming down the stretch, my friend, of an amazing D3 hoops season, and you're in the middle of it. So your Violets are 18-4, 8-3 in the UAA. We'll talk about some individual games, but in terms of where you're sitting 8-3, one game up on Case Western Reserve, who's 7-4. How do you feel about how the season's gone so far and where you are in the race?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind of a year. It feels like yesterday it was September and we were just stepping on campus. So we've come a long way from day one, and I think we're doing pretty well. Our goal, Coach Klasky says it all the time, and our goal is just to come in and get better every day. And it's the long year, so 8-3 is pretty good. We got 3 games left, all on the road, and we're fortunate enough to control our own destiny. So we like that a lot better than having to rely on other people doing some things. And yeah, I think we feel pretty good about where we're at. And there's 3 games left, but we still have a lot of time.
Yeah, and after your game Friday, you won a huge game Friday at home against Case.
Mhm.
And after that game, I think I made a tweet that was like, I just don't see anyone else winning the league at this point because I thought you'd beat Carnegie Mellon on Sunday. And then at that point, to me, the math was just so in your favor. Losing at home to Carnegie Mellon Sunday was big, right? Because all of a sudden now you're just one game up. Talk a little bit. They played great. They played
Mhm.
great. I watched most of that game. Talk about the game versus Carnegie Mellon Sunday.
Yeah, they're an awesome team, really well coached, a ton of talent. Um, they played really well. They shot the ball really well from three. They did a good job defensively. They really rebounded well. And it's tough, those Sunday games, they're in the morning, especially when you're on the
Right.
road, you're coming off traveling, and you never really know what you're gonna get. And they came out, and credit to them. They played an awesome game. They executed their game plan. Um, Justin Allen was awesome. He played really well. He's a great player. Jack Stone was great. He's an Orange County guy, so got a lot of respect
That's
for him.
right.
Um, and they're a good team. They played really well, and yeah, it was a close game. And sometimes towards the end the ball doesn't bounce exactly the way you want it to. And yeah, but we got to move on, and we got 2 big games this weekend, and can't look back on that now. So
And at the end of that game, I've been, I don't know, for the last 2 months, I've been tweeting like that you're the best closer is the term I use, the best closer in Division III. And I want to talk to you about some of those closing moments. But I thought you were going to do it again. Like you had your patented shot at the end of that game, and it looked like it was heading in. Did that thing? I think it was to tie. Was that to tie? Were you down three?
yeah, we were
I
down 3. Yeah.
talk about that shot. Did you think it was going in?
Yeah, I did. I did. We spend a bit of time on late game situations, and you never want to be down in those situations, but the coaches do a great job of putting us in good positions to be able to win those games. And the guys on the team, we all try our best to execute. And we know that if we get in that situation, that's one of the plays we can run where I can come back and catch it near half court. I hope I'm not giving a scouting report away right now, but and Zay Freeney threw a great pass, and I probably had a little extra time, maybe shot it from a little further than I had to, but it was online and just a little short, so it happens.
But in other games, I mean, you've been unbelievable down the stretch. To me, like there's sort of three signature things that can happen with Spencer Freedman at the end of a really tight game. Is one is that like just dribble, we're 24 feet, we're dribbling, and all of a sudden it's like this little step back left three, right? Your left-handed step back three. That's one that's been made many times. The other is kind of the like go around you and lay it up with the left hand without ever touching the right hand, right? It's just like a dribble and go this, or like a little dart pass to someone for a basket to someone else.
Mhm.
Just in general, in these late game situations, what is it? What is it that makes you so successful? Are you comfortable in those moments, or just help us understand why you've been able to execute so well in those late game moments?
Yeah, I hope you're not coaching against us. You seem to know
I
all the
got the
stuff.
scouting report, brother. I got it. I've been watching all your games.
I appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate to be, or I guess maybe a little unfortunate, to be in a lot of tight games over the years, a lot of close games in high school. And you know, as you get in more and more of those, you just start to feel more and more comfortable in those moments. And with us at NYU, the coaches really put us and myself in great positions, and they believe in all of us. They're willing to let me go to that step back and take somebody off the dribble, and they really have a lot of trust in all of us, and my teammates as well. They all believe in me, and I believe in all of them, and they're willing to move and cut without the ball. The passes look nice, but it's really they have to cut and they got to get open in order for me to get it to them. So it's really it's all of us. We have 20 something total people if you add the roster and the coaches, and everybody knows that the coaches trust all the players trust all the coaches, and we as players trust all each other. And yeah, that's most of it. And then the other part is you get in a bunch of those games and you sort of figure out what needs to go on when, and where some teams break down, and yeah, you just got to take what the defense gives you at those times, and when you need a basket, you got to find a way to get them. So
One of the great side things about some of these late game heroic situations is this NYU play-by-play guy. I don't even know who this guy is, but like
Mhm.
he's pretty he's pretty darn entertaining. Like the shot that you hit against Chicago, which
Mhm.
was one of these ones I'm talking about, where we're just dribbling out there, and I you kind of came in, you came out, and he said I just couldn't stop. He said something. He puts Karowski in the mixer or something like that. Like, could I get this guy on the QCast, Spencer? This NYU play-by-play guy. Like, how do I get connected with that guy?
I definitely think you could. I could put you in touch with him. I think what's great is that he's more than an announcer. He's like a fan and a friend of ours. So
He's awesome.
definitely more invested. He's great.
Yeah, and his best call was the one that didn't go your way, man. The Swarthmore game, where like you
Mhm.
guys are up a million points and things go terribly in the final minute, and he just had a legendary call of that game. So shout out, what's that guy's name again?
There's a couple of them, and yeah, they kind of cycle through, but there's a few of them. So
Yeah, whoever the main guy is, though, I need you to get word to that guy that he's my guy, and like I enjoy listening to that guy.
I will
Um,
find out.
the Wash U game, the end of the Wash U game,
Mhm.
that was another big one for you, right? So I just mentioned the Chicago game, and this was the same weekend, right? This was a Friday,
Mhm.
Sunday. So Chicago, you hit that big three, and then Wash U, you had 10 points in the final 5 minutes to kind of steal a victory away from the Bears. What do you remember about the end of that Wash U game in New York?
Yeah, that was a crazy ending. I remember that we were 1-2 going into that game, and we really needed to win, and we were kind of in a tough spot. We were having a hard time scoring, and it just, in the last couple minutes, it just felt like we needed to find a way to get some baskets, and the coaches trust me in those situations to kind of make some things happen. And they put me in some really good spots and ran some nice sets, some good action, and teammates were moving without the ball, getting open, setting screens, cutting, and they just opened up the lane and some areas for me to kind of do my thing. And yeah, I mean, you can't, not every shot is going to go in. Fortunately, every shot was going in at that point,
Right.
and we definitely stole one. I think we're pretty aware that that was not a game that we should have won,
Right.
but sometimes the ball does bounce your way, so we'll take it with us.
Yeah, never apologize for a win. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was one where, right, if you're WashU, you're like, we just like won that game for 39 minutes. You're like, holy crap. Um, that was a great game. And then again, kind of the same thing. Like Chicago was in good shape late too, until you
Mhm.
hit that shot, and then you guys go on to win.
Yeah.
Um, Ended the Emory game, the game at Emory. That's a game where other guys made
Mhm.
big plays, right? So you had some
Yeah.
teammates that stepped up there. In fact, in that game, I remember thinking, boy, like Spencer's not shooting it that well, but boy, were you distributing. And talk about some of the guys who stepped up at the end of the game at Emory.
Yeah, at the end, Zay Freedman was
Yeah.
perfect. There's no other way to say it. I
Yep.
mean, I think he hit 5 threes in the last like 7 minutes.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was unbelievable. And CK Stevens had a huge steal. We got an and one on a fast break. Emmanuel, our big man, grabbing rebounds. Um, Hayden Peak stepped up with big and one, a
Yep.
couple buckets. Michael Savarino got us off to a really hot start in that game. Yeah, everybody really contributed throughout the course of the game, and then Zay just really took it home, and he hit the buzzer beater in the left corner. We ran a play for Mike to get a three in the ball side corner on a baseline out of bounds, and he missed it short. It bounced over. Zay had an awesome rebound,
Right.
out pump fake, and hit the three to win, and it was awesome.
Yeah, the key to the game winner was the pump fake, right? Because he had, I think it was Ethan Faust, the 6'9" kid, or so someone was over, but he pump fake, guy goes by, and he's just wide open. All
Mhm.
he had to do was just set his feet and make it, and he did. And
Yeah.
it was just a brilliant shot. So you're sitting in great shape. I wanted to talk a little bit about your background. So you're from Pacific Palisades. Um, who recruited you? Like when you picked Harvard,
Mhm.
what were your top two or three options in addition to Harvard? Like what were some of the other schools that were after you?
It was always, I'd say, really between Harvard and Stanford. Growing up, my parents are really big on academics. I love school. I love learning. And I think we always knew that if I was going to have the opportunity to go to an Ivy League school or Stanford, that's where I'd end up. And I was fortunate to have, some nice opportunities. And yeah, I mean, it's a little weird to say, but when I visited Harvard, it just felt like the right place, although it was absolutely freezing. I'd never seen snow in my life up until that point, actually. And we played a game with Mater Dei, my high school, in January in Springfield, Mass, and at Springfield College. And so we stopped on the way to visit Harvard as a team. Um, and it just felt like the right place for me. Coach Amaker is awesome.
Right.
Really great assistant coaches, uh, Coach Eskildson, Guarinoni, and Coach Satsky, and um, they're all really amazing people beyond basketball. And I was fortunate enough to also have some friends that played on the team there at the time, like Robbie Feinberg and Tommy McCarthy, who were two Southern California guys who
Sure.
played out there. And they said such great things. They made it feel like a second home to me before I was even in Boston. So that was that was really nice of them. And yeah, it definitely was a long way from home, and it was, a big change of weather,
Right.
but it worked out. So
Yeah, hard to pass up Harvard. I mean, that's
yeah.
pretty amazing. So you graduate from high school. So you've gone to school in such an interesting period of time with the pandemic and everything. And so like you've had such a interesting road here. So in 1819, you were a freshman at Harvard. In 1920, you were at Harvard, but didn't play basketball as far as I could tell. Was that second year? Did you not play? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I was injured, and then
Okay.
they cut the end of our season because of the pandemic. So,
Oh, that's right. So, okay. So 19, that's the season that didn't get finished. So you
mhm,
were injured. And then 2021 was the COVID season where there was no season. So
mhm.
there was no hoops. And then 21, 22, you're a senior at Harvard. And what's amazing to me is, like I always talk about how like the best Division III players can go a lot of places and be great players. At Harvard, you played 8 minutes a game, you averaged 2.3 points, zero point 0.8 rebounds, 0.6 assists. You were a role player on that team, which I can't even fathom, because I believe if they would have stuck you on the floor at Harvard, you could have done a lot of what you're doing here. Now I'm not here to get into that debate, but um, well, your senior year at Harvard, what was that like to get back on the floor after 2 seasons of not playing?
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. It was really weird coming off the pandemic and then I had another year before that of not playing. So,
Right.
um, fortunately, I have a lot of great people in LA to play pickup with during the summers. So I was able to play a ton before that, and it was great to be back on the floor. I think I wish our team would have done a little bit better, but it was really great to play, and those are some of my best friends still today, and just being able to play with people that you're so close with, it's, you become a lot more grateful for every opportunity after something like the pandemic. And, you
Yeah.
don't know if we're going to have a season or what the situation is going to be. So I think that season was a lot different than others because there was so much more gratitude in every moment. And, taking things, sometimes you take things for granted before. And now it's like, wow, I get the opportunity to run up and down with my best friends. Like, how cool is that? So,
It's very well said, and I appreciate your perspective. Like you graduated from Harvard, and you essentially had what 2 years of eligibility left because you had the COVID year,
mhm.
and then you also had a year. I assume there was like a medical red shirt from that season you were hurt. So you had 2 years. And look, if I was 22 years old and graduated, and I had 2 years of basketball left, you better believe I'd go play basketball. So how did you get connected with NYU? Like, what was how did you make that decision, and how did that all play out?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's actually a pretty funny story. Um, after my redshirt year, I knew I was going to have one extra year, and then during the pandemic, I was like, "Oh, cool, I got two."
Right.
Um, and I sort of always thought I'd go home to play. I thought I'd go back near LA. My parents could come to every game. Um, I'm super grateful. My parents still basically come to every game. They fly out to New York.
Wow.
So big shout out to them. They're
Yeah.
best, the most supportive people in the world. So, but yeah, and then I had a conversation with one of my mentors at Harvard and was talking to him about my extra eligibility. And, I was saying I'd probably go home. And he had like this really open conversation with me and just said, if you go back to LA, you will probably never leave. You'll probably get a job there and you'll work there. And you really have these 2 years to kind of do whatever, like a free pass to go wherever, and play basketball and have no responsibilities really. And like, have you ever thought about going to another big city, a place like, Chicago or New York or in Atlanta? And it had never really crossed my mind. And we just went to lunch one day, spoke about it for probably an hour or so. And by the end, I was like, you know what, this is an amazing opportunity. I can go to a totally different place, go get a great education,
Right.
and we have a great basketball experience. And so, sort of after that conversation, I decided that I really want to go to NYU. All my friends from school love New York. I had never really spent any time here unless we were playing against Columbia, which, you get like a day.
Right.
Um, that sort of did it for me there. Great education, um, amazing city, and Coach Klatsky was coming in to coach the basketball program, and I knew about him a decent amount. We had played Colgate earlier that year, and all my coaches at Harvard spoke really highly of Coach Klatsky,
Sure.
and yeah, so it really all worked out well. I'm pretty grateful for an hour-long lunch with a mentor. So
Yeah. Hey, those are life-changing conversations. Like you have a few of those in your life, and that was one of them.
Definitely.
Um, I'm interested in like when you came into NYU last year, your first year at NYU. I mean, you really hadn't been a star basketball player for years, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you had the freshman year at Harvard. I'm guessing you barely played. You know, the second year when you were hurt, the COVID season, which didn't happen, and your senior year, we just talked about you played 8 minutes a game.
Mhm.
Like for 4 years, you weren't the guy you were back in high school. And then you come and you had a great year last year. Like how was it adjusting to like kind of being a starter and being the point guard and being the guy after that 4 years?
Yeah, I think I had that experience for sure in high school, and so I think I always felt like I could have that experience, and um yeah, I just needed to find the proper fit for myself. And so I definitely always had that belief within me. And you play a ton of pickup in the summer and in the off season, and everybody's a star in pickup. So you get some reps at being the best player. And but yeah, at the beginning of the year, I'd say it definitely was a little bit of an adjustment. Maybe not right at the beginning, but once, teams started scouting us, and um, I would be the focal point of their scouting report. It was definitely an adjustment to get back to
Right.
where it had been for me. I had forgotten what it was like to be like that. And yeah, it was definitely a bit of an adjustment to get back, but again, great coaching and great teammates, and they help you work through all those little kinks and continue to, win games and do whatever it takes. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's turned out, let me tell you. So in your second year at NYU here, you're averaging 17.5 points, 4 rebounds a game, 6.1 assists a game. Like those three numbers together are mind-boggling for a point guard. You're shooting the three at 40% even, 0.400, and you're an 86% free throw shooter. So, you talk about a decision paying off for you and for NYU and for your teammates. I mean, good on you for taking advantage of having eligibility left. What's been your impression, Spencer, of Division III? So Division III in Southern California, there's a great league out there. The SkyAct's a great league, but
Mhm.
it's not like a kid growing up in Chicago with all this Division III stuff around them. So, you grow up in a place that isn't a D3 hotbed necessarily, and then you go to Harvard, Division I. What's been your impression after 2 years of what Division III is?
I think Division III is amazing. Like you said, growing up in Southern California, there's very few Division III schools.
Right.
Um, there's some really great ones like Kalu and
Pomona
uh,
Pitzer, CMS. Yeah, great league
Pitzer,
out there.
Occidental. There's a bunch of, but I don't think there's more than 10 Division IIIs in Southern California.
Yeah.
So you don't really know much about them growing up. And then going to Boston, there's a ton. So I started to learn a little bit about like Tufts and Brandeis. And I had some friends that played at Amherst and Williams and Wesleyan. And so I started to learn a little bit more about it. And then coming here last year, it exploded, especially around tournament time when I was talking to our assistant coach, Chris
Sure.
Thompson, who I feel like to me, he knows everything about Division III. And he, trying to figure out if we're making the tournament, he's explaining the regions to me and, telling me about teams and explaining how the Midwest is loaded and Wisconsin, it's the CCIW, right?
That my school's in the CCIW, Illinois Wesleyan,
Yeah.
and then in Wisconsin, there's a powerhouse league called the WIAC.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. He's telling me about these, and he's like, these are loaded conferences, and it's blowing my mind. I have no idea how many schools there are. And yeah, but it's pretty amazing. I love the entire aspect of Division III. I think the UAA playing it is so fun. High academic schools, really great kids on, you had Hayden Doyle and Sam Trunley on here. Those are two
Yeah.
friends of mine. And yeah, I think it's really fun, and the talent is incredible. It's much better than I ever thought it was going to be. And I really had no idea what to expect walking in, but it's been an unbelievable surprise. And yeah, it's everything I could ask for and more.
That's
So
awesome. And the UAA is an incredible league. It's especially these last few years where there's several guys. like you that have come from other places, and the grad transfers like at Case Western Reserve who are unbelievable. It's like it's always a great league. I think it's been elevated the last few years with the extra year of eligibility. It's been amazing races. By the way, the first time I heard your name, or the first time someone told me that like this Spencer Freedman kid from Harvard is going to be a D3 stud, was from Ryan Turell's father, Brad Turell. Did you grow up playing with against Ryan Turell in Southern California? Is that a deal?
Yeah, that's very kind of his father. They're an amazing family. And yeah, I grew up, Ryan probably lived 30-ish minutes from myself. And, we'd play against each other. I'd see him play. And yeah, that's really kind of his father. It's awesome what Ryan was able to do in college and is still doing in the G League. And it's really great to see how he's progressed, and it's amazing where he's at. So, yeah.
You know what would be cool? I'm trying to broker this. There's that the basketball tournament thing, right? And
Mhm.
there's a We Are D3 team. Someday, I want to see Spencer Freedman at the one and Ryan Turell at the three. Like, let's go. I mean, I'm going to keep kind of pushing this narrative until we can someday can make it happen. So wouldn't that be cool? Like you and Ryan Turell playing on a team
Yeah,
representing
I love that.
D3. Would that be cool?
That would be awesome. Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, I know the head coach and GM of that team. So I'm gonna get that thing out there. I wanted a couple more questions here, and then I'll let you go. Um, so your degree from Harvard. So I assume you graduated from Harvard. What was your degree, and what have you been studying at NYU?
At Harvard, I studied computer science, and here at NYU, I'm getting a master's of science in management and systems.
That's awesome. And so there's been a lot of chatter like, look, this Spencer Friedman kid is he's older than everyone else. But here's the deal, like guys, is this guy's got a degree from Harvard in computer science, and he's going to have a master's degree from NYU, and he's gotten to play basketball for 4 years. So, like, look, good on you, man. Like, I think it's incredible what you've done. I'm happy that you got to play all 4 years of your eligibility. Um, pretty darn amazing, man. Before
Thanks.
we roll, wanted two more things. I want to talk about your teammates for a second. I want to talk about these games left, because look, brother, it's not going to be easy. I'm just looking at your schedule, and we'll save that for last. But just kind of a group question here. You guys have a really strong team. Like this is not a one-man show team here. Zay Freeney, Michael Savarino, Hampton Sanders, Quinn Clark, Emmanuel Onyewama, and others, several other guys. Just talk about, like, you guys seem to really gel. And when I
Mhm.
watch you guys, it seems like a cohesive team that likes playing together. Talk about like the mix of your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it is an amazing group of people. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better group. Um, I think, like you said, we really do gel well on the floor, and I think that's because we're all really close off the floor. I think we've all been on teams or been in situations where sometimes there are clusters of people, and it definitely makes it tougher to be as close on the floor, but all of us are incredibly close. We're all best friends, you could say, and that definitely helps a lot. We have a ton of talent, one through, I think we have like 18 on the roster this year, but it's really a supportive and close-knit group. So no matter who's playing, everybody else is really supporting them. And um, we all really believe and want to see each other succeed. That's the truth. So it's we're really fortunate that everybody gets along so well. There's no bad apples at all. And it's always new when you get grad transfers like Emmanuel, and we have Conrad from
Yeah,
Princeton, four new freshmen this year, like you said, Hampton and Flynn, Allen, and John. You never know how they're gonna fit in. And
right.
last year we had a really tight knit group. Everybody was very close, and you get six new guys in, and it couldn't have worked out better. I mean, they just buy into sort of the culture that's been built, and yeah, it's a testament to the coaches recruiting. They get guys that they know will fit, and it's a testament to the guys that jump in. They're willing to buy in and support everybody and come in and do the work each day. So it's really a great group, and I think it helps us a lot on the floor.
It's an impressive team. I mean, you guys play really well together. Um, Okay, quick question, by the way. Like, was it cool when you're hooping last year? I think they get like down at Roanoke and like Coach K's in the stands. Like, was that
Yeah,
had to be cool, right? You can say
it's
that. It's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that.
That was pretty cool. And look, the QCast would break the internet if Coach K would come on this program, and I could ask
Right.
him like what his thoughts are about Division 3. It would break the Division 3 internet, right? Which is a smaller internet. So I'm just saying, like any kind of good word, man, you could put in for the QCast with this Savarino kid or whatever. That I'm
Yeah,
just I've tried Coach Kalatsky and he's like, I can't ask him that. So we'll just leave it at that. You could take that where you want to.
I'll
In
do
all
my best.
serious, yeah, please do. In all seriousness, oh, one more question. I wrote
Mm,
down a little thing. It said handles. Your handles are as good as anyone I've ever seen in Division 3, and I want to know. I want you to more tell like some kid that might be watching this that's like in 8th grade or high school. I know that doesn't come like the things you're doing with the basketball aren't just like completely natural. You got to work your ass off
mhm.
to learn how. Like, how did you learn how to handle the ball the way you handle the ball?
Yeah, thanks for the compliment, by the way. I spent a lot of time dribbling. I had some really great trainers when I was growing up, and they would put me through a bunch of ball handling drills and, just everything you can imagine, and some pretty unique, funny things. An example of that is like to get my rhythm and to teach me how to have some rhythm, they would play music and I would have to like dribble
Oh
on the beat
wow.
of the music. And yeah, but I just love dribbling. So like I would always just walk around dribbling a ball, it felt like. Um, and just trying new moves. And when you're younger and you can't really go between your legs, I just keep trying until eventually it would work. Or going behind your back until like you lose the ball. And yeah, I spend a lot of time dribbling, and now I'm fortunate to have great assistant coaches who take the time after practice to sit there and watch me dribble and help me out with ball handling and shooting. And it's definitely an everyday thing. I love dribbling, and I will dribble every single day, probably hundreds of dribbles just because I find it fun. So
And
yeah,
that's really what I wanted to ask you, that because I thought that would be an interesting thing to know, is like how hard you had to work. I mean, it is amazing how well you handle it in tough situations, and everyone knows you're the guy out there, and it's just like that thing is on a string, and it takes work, right? Like the bottom line is you've worked your tail off to become a great
Mhm.
basketball player, and that's just a great message for anyone out there. What even kids that are in Division 3 right now that are freshmen or whatever trying to get better, like you just got to work. Um,
Definitely.
Last topic is just the stretch run, my friend. There is no home game left for the Violets at WashU, at Chicago, at Brandeis.
Hmm.
These are good teams, Spencer. These are good teams. My alma mater's played both WashU and Chicago. These are good teams. I've seen Brandeis play many times this year. There is no easy one left. Starting with, let's just talk really, because there's no sense in going any deeper than the game in St. Louis Friday, right? Is at WashU. Great team, tough place to win. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts heading into the game with the Bears there in St. Louis?
Yeah, they're an awesome team, and it's a very tough place to play, and anywhere on the road is tough. So, we're just going in with the mindset that we got to go one play at a time. We know that this is a must win for us. This is a must win for them, and um, we just know that we can't look ahead to, we can't look past the little things. Every possession matters, and we got to really lock in on our game plan, which I'm not going to reveal early.
Thank you.
And yeah, just take it, you can't worry about what's going to happen with 5 minutes left in the first 2 minutes. So we um we know it's a big game for us, and we really want to come out and play well, and really focus on the defensive end and get some stops to get us going. So I think it's going to be a great game. They're a great team, and that's a legendary place to play. It's, historically they have such an incredible program, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. They're great tests, no matter what, win, lose, or draw. Just to be able to go out there against another team that is so talented and get to play on the
Sure.
road, it's a great test for us.
Yeah, and this is what it's all about, Spencer, right? Is you think about what's on the line in this game is, the UAA lead, you're up one game right now. So there's no room for error, right? So the
Mm.
UAA is on the line. For them, like their season's on the line. They are regionally ranked behind my guys by like a decimal point or two. So Illinois Wesleyan's 1 in Region 8, WashU is 2. If they beat you, that could easily flip. If they lose to you, I think they're in trouble. I think they're in some trouble in making so like I'm just saying, like, you couldn't have more on the line in a basketball game. And isn't that the great part about like competitive sports like this?
It's the best part about it. It's all you can ask for.
It will be incredible. That's Friday night, and then you got to make the trek to my hometown of Chicago. You got to play the Maroons. I know that what you're going to tell me is you're just focused on WashU first, so I will save you from asking you details about Chicago. That's going to be a tough game. This
Mhm.
Karowski guy, he's going to want a piece of you. I've seen that this guy's unbelievable, like a 6'6" wing player, headband, long
Yeah.
hair, shoots the crap out of it everywhere. So Chicago's good. Brandeis is good. Um, Spencer Freedman, this has been a lot of fun, and like I said, I mean, you are one of the favorite guys that I like to tune into because it's like something cool is always going to happen when I watch you. I want to give you kind of the last words here. You'll have kind of the Violet Nation tuning in, D3 Nation tuning in, maybe some family might tune in and check this out. So, what would you leave the QCast viewers, watchers with here today, Spencer Freedman?
First of all, just thank you so much for having me and for all the kind
Absolutely.
words. It's been awesome. And I'm really grateful that you asked me to be on here. So it's been fun watching your interviews with everybody else, and honored that I get to jump in and be a part of that. And the only thing I would leave everybody with, I think, is um just, it's like you said how I'm like 100 years old. I've played for a million years, and just that, you never know when those opportunities are gonna go away. So um, just like for me, my focus this year has been just to be grateful and take advantage of every moment, every practice, every minute, in the weight room, every game. You really never know when it's going to end. And, sometimes people have season ending injuries, knock on wood, or, you graduate and you never know what's next. And, it's been really awesome to be at a place like NYU with, Coach Klatsky, Coach Thompson, Coach Newsom, Coach Feldman, and the rest of our team. They really do an amazing job of making this experience so special. And I'm just really grateful for every minute and every day and every game that we have together. And, like you said, we're winding down. We have 3 games left and then hopefully the tournament. And we can't look past anything. Today is Wednesday. We got practice in the flight tomorrow, and just gotta make sure to be grateful for all those moments and be grateful for every game we have left, and really just enjoy the ride. It goes by quickly. Although it's been 75 years since my freshman year at Harvard, it feels like yesterday. So it's amazing that I get to wind down this road with such great guys and such great coaches.
Yeah, look, you have nothing to apologize for. Anyone that's on Twitter saying that like Spencer Freedman's too old to be playing, they would die to have gotten this opportunity that you've had both athletically and academically. And so good on you for using all of your eligibility and coming into a great program and helping them become great, right? Like Dave Klatsky is going to look back on 10 years from now and building NYU, and he's going to look at the Spencer Freedman era as the beginning of that and how that attracted recruits and how that got buzz going and got them to the tournament and all this stuff. So, good on you for what you have done. And I certainly will be watching this game on Friday. I mean, I think I got to root for the Violets because Illinois Wesleyan WashU. I mean, I think I'm in trouble if WashU wins. So I think I'm going to wear purple for that
We'd
game.
love to have you for it.
Yeah, I think I got to root for you guys. Spencer Friedman, pleasure having you on. Pleasure watching you play. Keep things rolling, okay? And we'll be rooting for you in the NCAA tournament, my friend. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.